Hey, everybody. Randy Patterson here with Boomerosity. Got an interesting interview for you this time around, and it is with Stephen Dees of a band that goes back quite a few years by the name of Novo Combo. They've been out of circulation for a bit, and they've come back with a new album. And I've talked with their lead singer and bass player, Stephen Dees, about the album and some of the background of him and the rest of the band. I mean, these guys, you may not have heard of them individually, or maybe even not even the band, but they're great. And each one of their musical pedigrees are pretty high. The drummer, which is Michael Shreve, he played with at a little concert called Woodstock back in 1969 with a little band that didn't even have an album out yet by the name of Santana. Stephen, he's played a lot with John Oates and Hall and Oates and other great bands. And so to be able to talk with these guys and just hear their stories is always fun. And Stephen was no exception. We had a great chat. We talked about what the band's up to, what else they've got going on, and some of his side work he's got going on as well. So give it a listen. And if you don't mind, share it with your friends. And as you're done listening to it, or while you're listening to it, would you go ahead and hit like and subscribe? Neither one's going to cost you anything. It just helps us out a lot. And please do share it with your friends and ask them to do the same thing. So without any further ado, here is my first interview with Stephen Dees of the band Novo Combo. Until next time, this is Randy Patterson with Boomerosity. Take care. Hello, Steve.
Hey, Randy.
We get it working.
Yeah. Okay. Great. Right. Thanks to my wife, Patty.
Is that a Danny O'Day ventriloquist doll back behind you on the shelf?
Actually, no, that's Pee Wee Herman.
Oh, Pee Wee Herman. Okay.
All right. Yeah. Actually, when I was a kid, I had a Jerry Mahoney. Remember that?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Remember Jerry Mahoney and Knucklehead Smith and those guys?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you did ventriloquism, huh?
Yes, I tried. I tried.
Yeah, I know the feeling. I did it as a kid. I used to do a little bit at my church in Phoenix when I was a little kid, and I'm glad there wasn't video back then.
Well, yeah, I don't know. That'd be fun to see now, I think.
I guess, but it would only be for my consumption in my eyes. So
yeah.
Well, how cool. Well, Steve, thanks for taking the time to meet with me. This is going to be fun. And I saw from your phone number that it's you're down in Florida, huh?
Yes.
How did the hurricanes affect you down there?
Us personally, I mean, we were lucky, very lucky. We're on the East Coast.
Okay.
But still, a lot of people got slammed over here, trees falling into homes. But we took the time this past couple of years to build up all our surrounding around the house, the ground, to get it properly where we're not going to be flooded. We shouldn't be flooded unless it's some
big surge,
1,000-year event or something. You know what I mean? Because we've gone through some heavy rain periods and 2 hurricanes that came through this year. So I'm feeling pretty good about that. But a lot of our neighbors, Florida's, most places in Florida are on a floodplain.
Yeah.
And people, things need to change. People need to start building things up because a lot of people are getting flooded out, because their houses are just right there.
Yeah.
What goes boom.
They need to build as if they're on a beach, go with a 10-foot clearance or something,
They need to build like there's a hurricane coming.
Yes, for sure.
Because there is.
I'm not far from where we were impacted here, not far from me, and I'm not far from where Interstate 40 was washed out. Now, personally, I wasn't affected. I live next door to my dad. I take care of him. He's in cognitive decline, and so we fortunately were fine. We didn't even have power outages, so we were really blessed there. But man, seeing all the video from nearby here as well as down your way, it's I'm glad you guys were okay. And especially when you got all the cool stuff behind you there. You don't want to lose that stuff. Yeah.
No, we don't. I mean, it's stuff, when it comes down to it. When I see these families that have lost everything, it's really, it's tough.
Yep, it is.
To see that, you know. But if you got your health, that's the main deal.
That's
For sure.
right. We've
Yeah.
all come through a pandemic, so we know how bad it can be, right? So,
Yes.
um, well, hey, you guys are coming back around now. You've got this new album out. Tell me about it. What's the story? Why this album and why now? Why do you all get back together? I think I know the answers, but let's tell everybody what those stories are.
Well, our yeah, the series of events and the of the story is I was a good friend of mine, like my best pal, a drummer who I played with in several bands, including Hall and Oates. We played in Hall and Oates together.
Mhm.
But we grew up together, kids, sharing the same kind of music and stuff. And anyway, he passed away a couple years ago,
Mm,
and I just went, I went to the archives, started digging because I want to hear stuff, you know, where Eddie was playing on it.
mhm,
And but then of course, when you open up all the archives, it's like, oh, what's that? What's that? What is that? Because they got years of stuff. And then I started hearing some Novo combo tracks, and it just it really impressed me. I was like, what a great band this was.
mhm,
It was really, really a good band. It was special. And especially on the first record with those four guys.
mhm,
Um, there's a chemistry there, when you're able to look back and be objective and you go, wow, what a terrific band. So and so I started listening to all this stuff, and being a big Beatle fan, I was influenced by their anthology, where they went into the vaults and pulled
yep,
out all the
yep,
stuff and recorded some new songs and stuff that people had never heard. And in our humble way, it was like, well, let's do what the Beatles did, kind of. And that's what we did. But we have five newly recorded songs on there.
mhm,
So it's worth it. And then we have demos that we had did before the first record. You
mhm,
know, there's a lot of songs that made the first record. And hearing those demos, I love them because they're so real. We would literally go in one afternoon, cut 4 or 5 songs live.
mhm.
No tricks. It's a band just playing, and there's
Wow.
an energy there that is really not even. It's so nice to have that. It's so fresh. It's really fresh to hear that
Mhm.
because I've been producing records for quite a while now, and everything is basically perfect now.
Yeah,
And but perfect is in the ear of the beholder for sure.
true.
And I mean, I just love the rawness of some of those demos, and some of the tracks for sure sound better than what made it to the record because
Mm,
it does have that. This is
wow.
rock and roll. I mean, come on. That's not Bach.
Yeah. So, doing that, I mean, like you said, you've produced a lot of records, you played with a lot of people. You know the process, you know how things normally go, and you've watched the evolution of how records are put together. What were the I guess I would say were there any surprises as you did this aside from wow, this is good stuff. We should have put this out long ago. Was there something where while you guys were putting it all together and that kind of thing, you go, wow, crap, we weren't expecting this.
We're a democracy. This band is an absolute democracy. If somebody doesn't like something, then we go, okay, next. You
Hmm.
know, of course, there's compromise because if you don't have compromise, you might as well not deal with other people. But
Right.
so, but yeah, I mean, we went through the process of doing all this, and it just had to pass everybody's. Um, what surprised me on the new tracks is how nobody's lost a step. I mean, really about that. I mean, everybody sings the same, which is pretty amazing.
It is. Yeah.
You know what I
For,
mean?
for that much time passing,
Well,
that's
yeah,
unheard
because
of.
we were youngins back then, and here
Hmm.
we are, like, I'm 72 years old, and I had no problem sounding just the same, and Pete as well. I mean, everybody sounds the same, and
Hmm.
but everybody, in my opinion, I know I have advanced as musicians. Absolutely, it's a lot of time because it's always about improving yourself and learning.
Yeah.
And so we're actually musically better now than we were then. And but we held up, and everybody has kept their hand in music. Nobody quit music or anything like that.
Right.
So I mean the pipes were, well oiled, it was all there. No disappointments in that regard at
What
all.
about how did it feel working together again? I mean, I'm sure it's been quite a while. So how was that? Were there some things like, wow, you changed on this, or were the synergy still there? Did you feel like you were picking up right where you guys left off, or how did that all work out?
Well, I love these guys, and we've stayed in touch throughout the years, and we've always known that we had a special little band. It was kind of, you keep that little special place in there, and so the ember's still burning. It never actually goes out. And also there's been a lot of people selling our music online, literally selling it and ripping us off,
Yeah.
and that gave me a little more. It's like, hey, let's reclaim ourself. And
Hmm.
these people are like literally stealing from us,
Hmm.
putting our albums out and here and selling them and not paying us publishing or anything. We own our publishing. And so that was an extra little bonus of a read. It's like, hey, those bastards, let's get them back, man. This is us, and if you want to hear our music, try to buy it from us, and
Right.
we're even considering, once I figure the legal aspects of it, because we have really good copies of both of our albums, mixed masters.
Hmm.
Whoever's releasing them, on one of them, they're literally using the record. I mean,
Oh
it,
my
it
goodness,
sounds
you're the
crappy.
pops. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm like, they're just there's some bad people out there. What can I say?
Well, I think in all fairness, I'm sure the people buying them are thinking they're getting legitimate stuff, but
Yeah, but
it's
we've also had people complain, and about the first record sounding so awful. Like, why does it sound so bad? And we're like, well, we've got nothing to do with that. And apparently they had some pretty good copy of the second record. But in fact, I don't even see I think maybe they let the first album took it off, this guy who's selling it. And because I don't really see that first record around so much.
mm,
I mean, maybe it is. I'm not like looking for it, you know what I mean?
right, right.
Because it's just upsetting to see this guy, screwing us. And when I have friends, by the way, that recording artists that I worked with, who I saw on this guy's site that he's selling as well. So I reached out to one of them, right? And I said, "Hey, do you know this guy?" And he's like, "Yes, he's a liar and he's a cheater." So he was doing it to somebody else as well,
Oh wow.
So yeah,
That
and he gets away with it because he knows that, it's like after all these years, we're gonna like, not go to a lot of trouble. I mean, is it worth it? Hiring lawyers right
yeah.
away is like, oh, time out. Because this guy, he's I'm sure he could just slime his way right out of it, even if he just disappeared. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's
Yeah.
like next,
Yeah.
next. And so here we are.
In the aggregate, he's making a fortune, but one artist at a time, it's probably, unless you went,
Yeah.
teamed up
Cumulative.
with all the artists and went after him as a team,
Exactly.
then you might
Class
have some
action.
good
Yeah.
synergies
Yeah.
there, you know?
I've thought about that. But when you get to a certain age, it's like I always have a tendency because it's just to walk away from negative stuff.
Yeah.
It's like I want to live my life here. I'm not going to be all upset about that.
Right.
It's like if you're going to be upset about things, there's a lot to be upset about.
Oh, absolutely. But then we have things like hurricanes and pandemics that help us put things in perspective too.
Absolutely. Yes, absolutely. And praying that we don't get whacked by a tornado. We had like
Yeah.
40 tornadoes or something south of us.
I saw that,
Crazy.
you know. And
Yeah,
I
it's
live in
crazy.
the valley. I live actually in the Smoky Mountains, and that's
Oh,
been
nice.
one concern where if a tornado came into the valley here, those suckers would just bounce off the mountains and it could last forever.
Yeah, man.
But so far so good. But
Yeah, great.
Were there any songs, new songs that you guys created that didn't make it to the album, and you guys already have eyes for putting out a new album after this one kind of plateaus?
Um, I wrote several new songs, and and everybody picked one of them, because like I said, this is democracy. And
Right.
Jack wrote a couple, and we picked one of his, and um, we did a couple remakes of, to make them something that we always wanted to do again or something.
Yeah.
Uh, E Train Revisited, that's one that we always wanted to redo that because Jack was kind of frustrated. Um, Back then, even though we had record deals, it was a lot of money. You go in the studio, still it's your manager going, "Hey, you're spending a lot of money. Can you guys hurry up?"
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And we did, we go in, boom, 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 and do it, And Jack was always, man, I would have liked just to really get into E Train better and do these little things I was thinking. And the beauty about now is he took his time.
Yeah.
It's like, well, take your time, Jack, get it just like you want it. And he's
Mhm.
very happy with what he did. And I am too. And it came out really good. And Another Slow Fade is a song that was on our second record. And I had done that as a new arrangement for myself. I had done it. And I played it for the guys, and they were like, that's cool, let's put it on.
Mhm.
And, add some stuff from the Novos and then put it on. And we did that. And then Another one that we did is we did a cover of the Beatles song, And I Love Her.
Mhm.
And that's available on the CD as a bonus track. It's
Cool.
not like for streaming, it's just a bonus track.
Right.
And we put that on there because, well, we love the Beatles. And since I nicked the idea of the anthology from them, I thought, well,
Be a hat tip to them.
yeah, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
These are the cats that probably made me want to be in a band for
Yeah.
sure.
What, and I say this to all the artists. I learned early on when I launched Boomerosity almost 16 years ago. I learned real quick not to ask what the favorite song is, but because that's like picking a favorite child, and we're not really supposed to do that. But what song on this release would you point to as being a good calling card, telling old fans and potential new fans alike, hey, if you like this, you're going to love the rest of the record?
Well, Michael Shreve, our drummer, he just did an interview and they asked him a very similar question. So I think I'm safe. I'll just say what he said. And he was like, hmm. He said, well, I guess it would be sorry for the delay. So
Symbolic too, right? So
yeah, exactly. It is. And so I mean, I'll go with that. But I mean, we like them all. I mean, or they
yeah,
wouldn't be on if we didn't,
that's right.
really. And we just wanted to showcase what we're about,
Mhm.
and um, just give a good cross view. That's why with the demos, the new stuff, a couple of live tracks, um, we were like, yeah, that's cool. And
Nice.
we do have, we do have more stuff. And if there's a demand for it, it's really about that. Because it's not cheap doing all this.
No,
I mean,
it's
it
not.
still costs money. And I mean, we're doing it for love, first of all.
Hmm.
And but to go any further, we need to see that there's, people wanting to hear it. But
Right.
we probably have enough for an EP already, an additional EP.
Very
And
good.
but I'm also, I have another band that I got a whole album that's coming out with my band called the Bandies. It's a pop rock band,
Oh,
and it'll be coming out next year. We'll stop dropping singles probably in January, and that's already done. We have a full album on that one, and then I also work with a band called the Wild Roots,
hmm,
which is it's a it's a roots band. We do like rhythm and blues, soul, blues,
hmm.
roots rock and roll, Americana, that kind of stuff. We're, just a big melting pot of American music. And I've been doing, the Wild Roots, producing those records for a long time.
Hmm.
And, with just the Wild Roots and also teaming up with Victor Wainwright, who's a
Yeah.
Grammy nominated, very successful cat.
Yeah.
And, we're like family, you know.
Yeah.
And we're always involved in Wild Roots. He's always in the Wild Roots Records, but he has his own band now and touring.
Hmm.
So I toured a while when we were the Victor and the Wild Roots, but I never really wanted to tour anymore, you know. So I toured as long as I needed to get it going.
Right.
And as soon as like, okay, it's going, you got a career now, Victor. And then I was like, you know, I want to be home. You know, I'm like, I definitely aspire to the Brian Wilson, don't go on the road, be home and make music kind of thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, because that's what I enjoy anyway, the most. But, you know, just to be honest, you know, I get sick and tired of hotel rooms and vans and buses and all that stuff.
Restaurant food and
Oh, yeah, you know,
yeah.
just get tired of it. And I've done it so many times, you know, and I just want to be home with my wife. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
It's that simple. You know, I love my wife's company. And so why would I want to be in some crappy hotel somewhere waiting to go on?
Yep. Yep.
Yeah. Yeah. So, you know, so anyway, yeah.
Well, first of all, when the Bandy's album is close to coming out, shoot me a note, or if you're using a publicist, have them get through to me. I'm good friends with John, who you're using now, but I'd love to chat with you about that album too when it
Oh,
comes
great.
out, and
Okay.
it'd be a lot of fun. But before I forget, I just started reading Alex Van Halen's book, and barely started at page 24 last night. I'm reading it just before I turn in. Michael's mentioned in it.
Oh,
Alex
cool.
mentions Michael, page 24, in case Michael hasn't already heard about it, you know. But
Oh, awesome.
he,
Yeah, what is this? Did they say something nice, I hope?
well, yeah, he said that he was just mentioning in passing that he saw the Woodstock movie
Oh,
and
yeah.
that he was blown away. He said there was two things he noticed about the movie. There was no Led Zeppelin, and he was blown away by Michael's work.
I was too,
So
man.
I don't know if he's mentioned elsewhere in there because I just started the book, but pass it along to Michael if he, in case he's not already heard it. Um, he can slip over to Barnes and Noble, find a copy, and look at page 24 at least, you know.
Yeah, man.
But
Yeah, it happened to me too. I was driving with my best friend Eddie that I was telling you about,
yeah,
and we were partaking a little bit, and we were finally going to see Woodstock. You know, it's like, okay, we're going to see Woodstock. And man, when Michael did his thing, we were like, holy wow.
yeah,
It was like, wow, that's amazing. You know, it was just really incredible. I mean, it was a special moment, that whole thing. You know, and nobody even knew who those guys were.
yeah,
They
yeah.
didn't even have a record out. And I'll see to this day, you'll read about all these people that were there. And in fact, I was reading about a producer that's producing another documentary about it.
Mhm.
And he said, interviewing all these people, what did you take away? And there was like two things I forget, but one of them is that with Santana was amazing.
Yeah,
That it was generally everybody was like, wow, Santana was amazing. And keep in mind, like I said, nobody knew who they were. So it
yep,
was just on the value of them kicking ass
yep, yep.
and taking
And
names.
what's sad is we're losing so many of those performers. I mean, of course, we lost Jimmy pretty quick, but now more and more of the people that performed either solo or as part of a band, it's there's less and less of those people there. Johnny Winter's gone now, and
Yeah,
he wasn't in the movie, but he was definitely a performer there. And Alan Lee and Marty Ballin with he's part of Jefferson
yeah,
Airplane and all that. So I mean, so many of these guys are gone, and so few of them are left anymore. It's tragic, and yet the industry has tried to repeat that magical few days and haven't quite caught it yet.
no, no.
They
Oh, here's
probably
another interesting thing about Michael strumming. Uh, I don't know how long ago it was, but Michael met Jimmy Page, right?
oh really?
For some function. And Jimmy says to Michael that John Bonham was a huge fan of yours.
Wow.
Yeah, yeah. So
Very
Michael's
cool.
like, wow, no kidding, you know? So yeah, so yeah. And I know a lot of people, John is everybody's favorite rock drummer.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, for sure.
His sister is pretty nice. I got to chat with her a year or so ago. Super sweet lady, quite the rocker herself, Deborah. And so anyway, just an aside there. So you don't tour anymore. So you kind of took away my thunder on my next question. I was going to ask you what's on your all's radar. I figured maybe a tour was in the works or something. So it doesn't sound like it's going to be.
Well, no, because Michael has had some health issues
Mm.
past couple of years. He had a back operation.
Mm.
Um, so it's kind of ruined that for touring. You can't handle like going out on a tour like that and
Yeah.
playing a full kit for 2 hours or whatever it is. So, but but he's still progressing, and he's got a new album out, like an instrumental album out. He plays a lot of where he stands and plays a lot of drums. You
Hmm.
know, he's a very creative guy, and so he's always going to find outlets for his creativity,
Hmm.
and that's never going to stop. But just physically, he's not in a position where, hey, let's go on the road, kids.
Yeah.
So yeah, so that's not really going to happen. But we do have two videos of us performing back in those early days.
Hmm.
Uh, just in a sound check, some people came and wanted to tape us and film us. It was very primitive. Nobody in the audience. It was a sound check before the gig, and we did a couple songs. And
Hmm.
I'm pretty sure that that's the only film of us actually on film playing live. You know, because there's plenty of like videos or TV appearances where we're lip syncing,
Yeah.
and there's plenty of live recordings of us, King Biscuit, The
Yeah.
Source, whatever. But actually, playing and singing live, I think this is the only one, and we'll be bringing that out in the next several weeks, two songs. And
Cool.
so at least, so we have a nice little package so you can see what we were like back then. I mean, of course, a sound check is not going to make us be without the audience there,
Yeah.
but still you get an idea about we were a high energy band,
Yeah.
we
Yeah.
we were there to kick ass for sure.
Any chance of maybe doing even a couple shows like an East Coast and a West Coast or anything like that? I mean, not a full blown tour, but one offs,
Well, like Michael says, never say never, but
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, it's you only have so much space in your life, and when you get to our age, it's like, okay, let's prioritize what we're doing here. And plus, I have to make a living.
Yeah.
And so,
Right.
yeah, so I got that going, and in fact, I'm in rehearsals with my Wild Roots band and playing some really great guys, including Charlie Deshant from Hall & Oates, saxophone player,
Yeah. Yeah.
and all the hits and stuff. He's fabulous. He plays for the Wild Roots quite a bit, and so we're doing some things there. Going to be playing around, and uh, right now we're kind of doing some shows where we're kind of paying tribute to the band and Bob Dylan.
Oh,
Um,
wow.
we were learning a lot of band and Bob Dylan songs just for fun,
Yeah.
and we'll be doing that. And within the show, we do Wild Roots songs, and we'll do some songs that Charlie's, known for, like, number ones that he did with Hall & Oates or whatever. And different guys, everybody has a track record in the band. So, we'll feature each guy doing whatever they did we even had a guitar player that was in the Backstreet Boys.
Wow.
And he's a great, I work with him, and he's really, really a great guitar player and everything. And so we're doing their song, we're working it into like a medley with a band song, and it works really good. I think it's going to surprise people.
It sounds like you guys are kind of like Ringo's all star band.
Well, yeah, like that and Immediate Family, those
Yeah.
guys.
Yeah. That too.
Yeah,
Oh.
it's kind of like that. And once
Wasn't
again,
going
yeah.
I wasn't going to ask this, and I'm not one to ask questions that are meant to stir the pot. And if this feels like that, then let's not answer it. But there's been some controversy between Daryl and John, and as a fan, I hope and pray because we see so many examples of people parting ways and it be under a lot of acrimony and such. And I did Dan Peake's last interview before he died, and I was hoping, and I even said it to him. I said, I hope you guys can bury the hatchet and, get back together and at least do something, one last hurrah or something. And of course, it
Mhm.
didn't happen. He died shortly thereafter. But do you, from what you see and witness and hear and all that, do you think there's any chance these guys are going to kiss and make up?
Well, I hope so.
Yeah.
In fact, I was just talking to Charlie about this a couple of days ago, and he said they don't. Nobody talks about it.
Yeah.
Everybody's tight-lipped. There's no, and and my I just hope they just kiss and make up. I mean, they don't have to play together, they don't have to do anything.
Right.
But you guys, you're a team, man, and
Yeah.
you extremely successful. And so, fans love you, and they don't want to know about that. They want to know that you guys are happy, that you're Hall and Oates forever.
Yeah.
That's all you have to do, just shake hands and work it out, you
Yeah.
know. And I hope they do. Like, hope they have enough time to do that
I do
because
too.
the fans deserve it. I mean, the fans
Well,
made them, you
that's
know?
right.
Yeah,
You know,
man.
I was backstage with Graham Nash once, and somebody was talking to him about David,
Yeah.
Crosby, and boy, to hear it then. This was probably 7 years ago, I guess it was, and
He
I
was
mean,
very
after
pissed off.
quite, to put it very mildly, and I was sitting there thinking, gosh, come on, guys, you sang about peace and love for all this time, and you know, be an example. And I'm not saying that to bash any of them. Of course, it's too late to mend the fences between those two, but like you said, fans want to see the happy stuff. Now, people do like to slow down for a car wreck, right? And fans will do that too. But at the end of the day, people like to see the harmony and the happiness and the spreading of the love. And I hope that happens with John and Daryl.
Yeah, me too.
I've not talked to either of them, but I'm a fan of them both, and I just hope that they can get things taken care of. But
Well, yeah, John is a sweetheart, man. He's a really good guy. John um on the Wild Roots Volume 1, he played some guitar on one of the songs and he sang lead on one of my songs. And he
mhm,
did a fabulous job. His voice is terrific, man.
yeah.
Uh, Soulful guy. I love John's voice, so it's good to see him out there doing his own thing.
Well, his solo stuff is every bit as good as
I know he's just as good as ever.
yeah. So
Yeah,
yeah,
man.
he's on my bucket list to talk to and interview sometime. I just I'm just a fan. I'm not a journalist, and I just approach it as being a fan. And these interviews are my autographs I collect, and
Yeah.
people seem to love it. So hopefully someday I can be able to chat with him and just I don't go negative on anything. So I'll keep it on the talking points. But final question here: what with you have a long history in the business. You worked on a lot of great records, this one included. Not to be macabre or anything, but when you step off the tour bus of life up at the great gig in the sky, how do you want to be remembered? And what do you hope your legacy is?
Well, no, that I was just an all right person, that I was a good person, you
Hmm.
know? I mean, that's what I try to be, just try to be a good person
Hmm.
and try to, well, I follow the teachings of Jesus Christ.
Same here.
That's me personally. But I mean, I'm also aware of other religions and stuff. And, wisdom is wisdom. The Buddha speaks to me in a lot of times. I like stuff, but I mean, I was raised with that. And I was, and early on, I was all about the golden rule, do
Hmm.
unto others. All those things resonated with me as truth. Because, you read a lot of stuff and some of it sounds crazy, when you're reading stuff about religion. I'm not a big fan of a religion, let's put it that way.
Yeah. Yeah.
As soon as it becomes a club, it's messed up.
That's right.
You know what I mean? So
And that will preach.
yeah, and so, what matters is how people behave.
That's
So
right.
of course, judge not, I don't judge anybody.
No.
Um, that's not my job. I just try to be respectful of everyone and understand everybody's opinion. Now, if somebody is messed up and out of line and come at me, I will certainly defend myself
Sure.
and my family, of course.
Right.
But in general, I just want to get along with everybody and just say, you know, that guy Steven was chill and he was a good guy.
Cool.
Okay with me.
Well, hey, You come across that way to me, so I'll back you on that.
Oh, thanks, Randy.
Well, Stephen, this was a lot of fun. I'm glad John made me aware of all this and that he put us together on here. He's a great guy, so I know you'll like working with him, as you probably already are enjoying working with him. But my email, I want to give you my email address. If you want to drop me a line, I'll keep you in the loop on when this post. It'll probably be a couple of weeks. But my email address is very simple. It's Randy, RANDY, at boomerosity.com. So that'll get me here. And I look forward to having this posted and pointing people to the new record and all that. And I meant it when I said that when the Bandies album starts coming, I'm getting close to it, like maybe let's say about a month before it's supposed to land. Let's put one of these together, and we'll time the posting of the interview right around when the album drops. Okay.
Well, yeah, that's great, man. Thanks. I appreciate that.
All right, my friend. Well, listen, stay safe, stay healthy, and I look forward to talking to you again, hopefully soon.
Thanks, Randy.
Take care.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
This show was edited and produced by Mike McClellan. The original music, Roll the Dice, was written and produced by Quentin Hope. And Randy Patterson was your host and executive producer.